Welcome back. This is our final session for Creator Camp, our Creator Roundtable, and I am joined here with a number of amazing creators that I am so happy to get to ask you guys questions. I think we can start with just going around and doing a quick intro, who we are and what we do. So I'll start. I'm Christina. I'm a community manager here at Minecraft, and then let's just sort of go in clockwise order. So Raz, you're next.
I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. Hi, I'm Raz. I'm the general director of Razzleberries.
I'm Liam. I'm the project manager at Oreville Studios.
I'm JWolf. I'm the lead at JWolf Creations.
I'm Donald. I'm the director of the Marketplace Partner Program.
Oh,
clockwise. Oh,
I'm Jigarbov.
Please go ahead. Please.
Go ahead.
Jigarbov Productions. Hello. I'm Akash, and I'm a lead texture artist at Oreville Studios.
Hi, I'm Fee. I'm a producer at Razzleberries.
And I'm Donald. I'm the director of the Marketplace Partner Program, and I have no right to be here.
Well, let's start with an easy question. Our first question is from Thomas at Game Mode 1. He wants to know, who's your favorite marketplace creator and why is it Jigarbov? Should we go around in a circle again? I would love to know who all of your favorite marketplace creators are.
Yeah, I want to hear this. I want to give a shout out, and it can't be you, Jig. It's not allowed.
We're not allowed to say it's Jigarbov.
They're allowed to say it.
No, I'd say what is your favorite marketplace creator that is not you and is not on this current stream?
Ooh, that's
Let's give
good.
some shout
Yes, good constraints.
Me? Okay, I keep forgetting I start. Obviously it's Jigarbov. But we have also another really close second. Jigarbov is amazing. He's super crazy creative. And then I also really like Spark Universe.
Yep.
Those were mine.
I'm gonna say Nox Crew. You gotta respect the OGs.
JWolf, who's yours?
Oh, yeah. Clockwise, right. Yeah, clockwise, right. Well, honestly, I might have to give it to Spark also, just because of the amazing creativity they have with a lot of things that they do. It's amazing. Yeah.
Second shout out for Nox Crew. Really good. Yeah, I think for me, Spark might give Spark a shout out. I think I like their work as well.
Mm-hmm.
Donald, you are also allowed to answer.
All right. Yeah. So I just want to say, I love all of my partners equally. I think you're all incredibly fabulous individuals. That being said, I am very material in my love. I'm constantly falling in love with new partners. And I just wanted to call out right now. I mean, I want to call out Augie, one of our newest partners, Bedrock native creator. Came out of nowhere, built an amazing community on their own, and has created one of the most engaging pieces of content in recent history. Absolute legend. Should be an inspiration to not just all of you out there, but to our creators themselves. Starfish, XP Gaming. I could go on. There's so many great creators. I love my OGs too, but you've already called them out.
Thank you all. This next question is specifically for Razzleberries, and it's referencing the Hello Kitty and Friends DLC. I wonder how this team would expand this game concept into a more infinite world, dynamic world.
Oh, we had so many ideas and so little time. The production took a year, and we didn't get everything we wanted in. And we were even considering can we release updates and more content and more quests and stuff. It's just not really doable. I don't think, at least not within if we were to be able to expand it, man, we'd add way more quests. We'd add probably cooking mechanics so that you have something to do with your crops, not just sell them, and with your produce that you get from your animals. Maybe expand the village to a bigger village with more shops.
We
I
wanted
don't
to
know.
be able to bring some of the other Sanrio characters in. That would have been cool. Maybe after a certain point of progression in your town development, you get to bring new characters over. That would have been cool.
Oh, well, I am such a fan of more Hello Kitty. Thank you for the answer. Our next question is for Oreville Studios. Kyoga wants to know, how does the teams envision actions and stuff in the next year?
Hi, yeah. So we have some really exciting updates actually coming out for Actions and stuff. So it's been our goal from the start of Actions and stuff to continue to support that release, both by creating new content when Minecraft updates. So, we've got stuff already planned for the next releases. We're really trying to hit, day one that release comes out, and we've already got stuff ready to go for Actions and stuff. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I will say little mobs are about to be a lot cooler, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, we have some exciting updates coming soon, and we are also, of course, always looking to keep the pack updated, for the future, like of Minecraft updates, as the new game drops release and as the, maybe bigger Minecraft updates come out, we are like always looking at those and trying to publish an update for action stuff as soon as that comes out as well. So yeah.
Yes, we're also always listening to community feedback, so send us feedback. We will include it.
Any suggestions you have are great.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Send in your feedback. Actually, this next question is one that any of you can jump in and answer. Chiosia, sorry if I butchered your username. One thing I wish the creators would go into is scope creep, how to prevent your add-on from getting out of control. Any thoughts?
I'm going to throw one in really quick. Good way to avoid that is don't involve me in any of the discussions. I
was going to say we don't have the answer for that. We always throw absolutely everything that we think about. We suffer for it, but pillars, just try and think about what's really, really valuable and you really want to achieve with the add-on, and try and like focus on 3 to 4 things that can sometimes help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, coming from the context of like updating an add-on, like with Wolf's Plus, for example, I tend to take some feedback in from the community, of course, right? And then I build this list of different features, right? And then I kind of pick certain things out of that list and add that to this is what's going into the next update, and I try to stick with that. Of course, you end up with small little things getting through, but as you're working through and you stick to that list, I mean, it does help. It does help to like narrow it down at least a bit.
It is heartening to know that this is a problem that everybody faces. So you're not alone. You're not alone in your struggles. Let's see. Stuart Sterland asks, this is for Razzleberries. And I think, again, this is a Hello Kitty related question. What was the expected playtime and what was the length of your development?
So the length of development was about a year. Our expected playtime, we weren't sure, like we didn't like aim for an expected playtime, but usually these kinds of games, like all these like very like harvest related, seasons related, festival related, very like Stardew Valley stuff, they have very long playtimes. So us knowing every little trick and every little way to make the game go faster, if we did a playtest, like a full playtest with no cheating or anything, it would take us about 4 hours per season. And that's times 4 seasons. So that would take us 16 hours to play the game from spring to spring, so spring 1 to spring 1. And we still wouldn't have finished because we still haven't finished upgrading the house fully. We still haven't unlocked all the furniture. So playtime for Kitty is probably weeks of playtime.
How many collective hours do you think your team spent playing Hello Kitty?
Like whenever we did a playtest, it would take us like a whole week. So collective hours per person testing, we were usually 4 people testing. because we would test multiplayer with each other and on different consoles and connecting to a realm and like all sorts of things. Hundreds.
Well, that sounds like a dream job to me. This next question, I think, is for anyone. Poppy Sop asks, what tools do you use for developing content in the marketplace? Are those tools publicly available? Whoever wants to jump in, go for it.
Yeah.
I think there was a bit of a conversation about tools earlier, but like I use VS Code, like a lot of other people, and Blockbench, and they're all publicly available and they're all free.
Yeah, in our studio, we also only use free tools. We don't really have any proprietary tools. I'm pretty sure I've heard that some teams do, but the majority of the people I've talked to use just the available tools that are available for everyone.
Yeah. We also primarily use Blockbench for all the like modeling, texturing, and animation as well. But myself, since I work a lot on textures, I tend to use Asprite, shout out to Asprite, on the side, and it's a really great pixel art like editing program. But
yeah, we do tend to build our own tooling in-house, but we tend to build on top of like already existing community platforms. So things like if you've got VS Code, if you've got Blockbench, Snowstorm, all of these things that everyone's using for Minecraft development, you're on the right lines. You're going to get really far with just those.
Oh, thanks for all the tips. Here's another question for Oreville Studios. Kyoga asks, how can creators make their add-ons compatible with actions and stuff? So for instance, new creeper variants with those amazing animations.
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question, because compatibility is something that we're really striving for with actions and stuff. It's quite difficult because it's so expansive. We do have 3 different subpack options, and we have a compatibility one. That's the best one to use. We also have some creator features built into actions and stuff that allows you to hook in and use actions and stuff animations in your own packs while you have action stuff applied. We do have documentation for that. I'm just going to find the link and then come back and say what the link is.
Great. Here's another question for anyone. Have you been looking into vibrant visual support?
Yep.
All right, next question. Does anyone have any thoughts that they want to share about what that process is like?
So it's basically like any vibrant visuals thing, basically like how PBR is. There's a bunch of different layers, and Blockbench, I think, recently added in a tool to be able to more easily add that support. So you adjust things like metalness or shininess, and a bunch of those different texture has a bunch of different layers to tell vibrant visuals how to react. Yeah, and like all of our add-ins will be getting an update to support it at some point.
Yeah, huge shout out to the creator team and the work that's in the Blockbench team. Bringing that, like the new features in editor to support vibrant visuals are just incredibly cool. I am still looking forward to seeing how folks here do manage. There's a lot of content that needs to be updated. It'll be interesting to look at strategies for doing this at scale.
Yes, well said, Donald. Thank you. This next question, it's another one for Oreville. Poppy Sop, how were you able to make 3D item models for items like Ender Pearl, Snowball, etc., which shares the same identifier with an entity?
That one I'm unable to answer because I don't know, because that is some dark wizard magic that our developers have put together there. Because if anyone who's familiar with actions and stuff, when it first released, we didn't have support for those kind of items. There's multiple different items in the game that we initially believed were, unsupportable because they just didn't have different tags or different ways to distinguish them from other items. So they kind of came in as sharing the same stuff. As we've continued to develop action stuff, we've just continued to dive in and try and like figure out what and how we can support these, and we've just found like really interesting workarounds and very like esoteric ways of detecting certain different items There's still ones that we can't do. The fishing rod is a big example where we just can't animate that. But we're always looking into ways that maybe we can sort of maybe figure out how to do it anyway.
Congratulations, PoppySap. You have stumped the creator. This next question is for anyone. Let's see. Thomas at Game Mode 1 asks, what's something you've seen go from really hard to do or implement to way easier, specifically regarding the Minecraft creator platform evolution? Anyone can jump in.
Thinking. What do you mean by the Minecraft creator platform?
I think they mean like, what's easier that used to be really hard to do with command blocks that's now easy with scripting?
Oh, yeah, that.
Like detecting
That.
when you right-click
Yeah.
something with something else.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I would say something that's huge for us, and I'm sure it's a similar workflow that a lot of people used to have to do, was a lot of transferring from Java Bedrock into Java Minecraft into Bedrock when you're doing like kind of massive world edits and things like that. But with the new creative features, we've been able to build things like World Builder, and we've been able to like create our own tools inside of the game with the server API stuff. And now we don't need to do any transferring from different versions, and things always break between different versions, and we have access to all the same custom blocks and entities and everything. So yeah, a big huge quality of life improvement recently for us is just not needing to do any version switching in our development pipeline now.
And one thing I could probably add to that too is it's gotten easier just as a whole to kind of like orchestrate events on entities. In Wolf Plus, a wolf behavior definition file is thousands of lines long with a lot of different events that can be run. Before, I used to have to implement a behavior side animation controller to kind of like orchestrate certain events that would happen in the wolf behavior. Now we have access to things like properties and things like that allow us to directly store data on the entity. So it's not so much juggling around signals through, components that are not meant for the purpose. Now you actually have things that are actually like they officially support storing information and reacting to it, So things like that too.
Awesome. This next question is specifically about actions and stuff. Dreamy Moonglow wants to know if you guys made the new sound effects yourself.
Yes, all of the new sound effects are made in-house. So we've taken a very like kind of Minecraft style approach to the audio, but it is all created in-house. Yeah.
Awesome. That is so cool. Thomas asks, and this is for everyone, what is your most hyped for upcoming feature?
And like literally anything with server UI.
Anything.
Updates.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I'm like really looking for more editor updates. I think editor has been quite useful so far, and I really am looking to see how it develops, and adding even more tools to make the workflow a bit easier, because it is quite in beta at the moment, right?
I've been like, every time there's a new preview released, I jump straight onto the editor and then weep because I can't use those features in production yet. I need those selections. I need the new movement stuff. Give it me now.
Let's see. Okay, Madlad has a question. I think this is a good one for everyone. Say I wanted to work at a studio like Oreville as a script programmer or VFX artist. What's the best thing I can do or show off to help land the role? What kind of content should be on the portfolio, and what makes it stand out from the others? And anyone can answer, not just Orville.
I mean, I'd be interested in Orville's response.
Yeah, I think I can say from like an artist perspective, if you're applying for like an artist role, we're always interested to see kind of like your portfolio. I think is the most important thing, and that kind of like speaks a lot. If you have like a really solid portfolio with it's always nice to also gear towards who you're applying. So if you kind of attempt something maybe more like emulating our style, or trying to kind of understand how we work in a way, or how we do like textures, animations, or whatever, I think that like immediately shows us that like you've kind of like done some research and you understand how we tend to do things. And I think that like immediately can set you apart from someone who might just taking like whatever they've had and just like putting that into their portfolio. But having a lot of like visual representations are nice to just be able to see, because I think how they say, like, a picture tells 1,000 words. It's always especially for art, it's like very good to see your work, and have that portfolio like nicely wrapped up.
Yeah. On the technical side, like one of the biggest things that we always look for is creativity and determination, because Minecraft takes a lot of both of those things to make things happen. So a lot of our developers and even our artists and VFX artists, audio designers, like everyone, they tend to be people who are already in the community and have already like contributed heavily to the community. So they've already gone out of their way to do something themselves. They've put together some kind of maybe an example would be World Edit. You've done something interesting in the Minecraft space. We've noticed that and gone, hey, do you want to come do that same thing for us? And we'll reach out. So it's definitely worth it not to just think about maybe applying for the job as like the first step on the journey, but maybe think about you just getting into the Minecraft space and becoming part of the community first. And then when you feel like you've done something really fun and really interesting, then kind of like start to reach out.
Seriously, fantastic advice. Oh, go for it, Doc.
I because I can see the internal thing. I know JWolf and Raz both have thoughts on this. JWolf, you wanna take this on?
Sure, yeah. So as somebody who actually came from that in a sense, I am a Minecraft marketplace creator who started off creating free content and posting it on Twitter. So that's one of the main things I would recommend, is like sharing the things that you're making. Kind of just providing updates on various things and maybe sharing your creations with the community. With Wolf's Plus, it was something that I worked on and released for free, and I was receiving feedback from the community on ways to improve it, recommendations, things like that. When you share things onto these platforms, there are other studios also behind the scenes that are also noticing your work potentially. So, shout out to Mushko and Starfish Studios. I have worked with them before, but the way that I managed to get those connections to begin with was the fact that I have my work out there and they were able to see it. And I was able to actually I was able to get that connection there with them because they like the work that I do. So yeah.
And JWolf is one of our more recent, I think it was last year you were onboarded, is that right?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
And it was through, I'm pretty sure it was because of recommendations from Mushko that I got to know about you. So it's funny how these things, word travels, and but the more people you know and the more people you make a positive impression on, it really, really helps. And Raz, I know you had some thoughts too. And Raz, speaking of one of our greatest mentors in the entire partner community.
Thank you. I think it's important that grabbing onto the whole how you make an impression was what I was going to talk about from the start when I heard this question, is that maybe you're not the best at what you're doing, but you do need to put yourself out there. But not just that. I actually like to talk to people as well. Doesn't matter if they're not the best. If I see that they have some potential, I'll talk to them. But this is like super important and something that you all need to keep in mind. The game industry as a whole, and even more so the Minecraft developer social circles or whatever, has a really long memory. And I want to see what kind of person you are as a person as well. Because if you think you're like super hot stuff and you think you're better than everyone, and like the way that you're behaving with others, if you're hard to work with, I don't want to work with you. And we've been around long enough to be able to perceive that sort of person. And it's important to be humble, and because we talk. So yesterday, some partner reached out about a developer. It's like, hey, have you worked with this person? Yes. What do you think? They're great. They're responsive. They're responsible. They're super nice. Blah, 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 blah. Recommended. But if you made a horrible impression and you came into a studio and you treated others poorly, and we're not going to give you that recommendation. So you can probably kiss goodbye to ever being able to work with any other partner if they find out that you're not a nice person to work with. So I think that's also super important to consider when you're applying, how you behave in the broader community.
Definitely.
Good life
Thanks.
advice, just kind of overall. Let's see. So this next question is for Jigarbov. Inimitable Gaming wants to know if you have an ETA for Computers Update.
No. No, there isn't. I did tease some new stuff on my YouTube channel, and I will continue to do that over time. There is no current date, but it is really, really cool. There's so much good stuff going in.
The people want to know. So we've talked about how long Hello Kitty took, but another question here, how many people did you hire to assist with making the immersive world? For Razzleberries, obviously.
Oh, I wasn't sure.
Sorry.
Our team was quite small.
For Hello Kitty, it was, I can
I will
count.
tell you. It wasn't a lot. Like, we had a few external partners, like the guy who helped us with the economy. We had a couple of musicians that had made video game music and like had worked on like Pokemon and like that sort of stuff. But like internally as a team, I'd want to say like 10. Here we go. Yeah, we had 3 programmers. We had, I want to say like 4 artists. We had people that did a bunch of other stuff. Builders, we had 3 also, but they were also builders and made 3D models and helped with textures. We had a texture artist. So I want to say that total the team would be about 10 people. Not working full time every day, obviously, because a lot of the people that are working with us also have like normal 9-to-5 jobs and like have been doing this for a while, but like don't fully like do this only. Some are still in college, some are like doing this full time. So it was like a mishmash. That's why maybe it's like sounds like a lot of people were involved, but they were not all involved all the time.
Well, and a really good call out that you also kind of have to wear a lot of hats. It's incredible what you can do with a small team, but it means that people have to do more than one part of the project. So yeah, really cool and really inspiring, actually. The next question is another one about Actions and Stuff. Nogard asked, does the original creator of Actions and Stuff, who published it for free first, still work on it, or did you guys take over?
The original creator is a Oreville animator.
Oh. So they're still involved.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Thomas asks, what did it look like going from hobbyists to professionals with Minecraft creation as a job? Do people still get shocked that you earn a living from Minecraft? Anyone can jump in.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm over here talking on here too.
How do you explain your job to people? I feel like that maybe is a better place to start. You know, when people ask you what you do, how do you explain it?
I like to start broad and then sort of narrow in if they ask follow-up questions.
Yeah, I sort of say that I kind of work as a 3D model or texture artist, and then they sometimes ask me like, oh, what are like textures? And then it's like a whole lot of can of worms. Like, oh, I guess I'm just kind of like an illustrator, you could say, and that's kind of how it goes.
You do tend to get the kind of head swivel when you mention Minecraft if you're on a table full of people.
Yeah,
I've had it before. Like everyone's literally stopped talking as soon as someone's asked me what I've done, and I said, "Oh, yeah, I do Minecraft stuff," and they're like, "What?" They all turn around and stare at you.
Yeah, I guess it gets hard a bit to explain sometimes. Like when I say like, "Oh, I work for Minecraft, I don't work for Minecraft. I work for like
Yeah.
Minecraft content. So it's like I work on Minecraft within Minecraft, and it gets kind of like a lot of people confused sometimes. So it's like I have to show them like, oh, I made this like specific model, and I've textured it like this thing, like you'll see here. That's what I've done. So that's kind of how it goes.
I can imagine it's a little confusing to understand if you aren't sort of, in the community and understand how Minecraft works. So I can only imagine that's
for sure.
a challenging conversation. I have a hard time even just explaining what I do. Let's see. Laura asked, do you need a type of permit for selling your add-on if it's an existing brand? If I sell an add-on about a known show, can there be legal action against me? Obviously, we cannot give legal advice, but maybe we can.
I think one for you, Donald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I am not a lawyer. I'm not going to give any legal advice here, but certainly it is extreme importance for us to respect the intellectual property of artists and creators and brands whenever we can. Things do slip through the cracks sometimes. We do get DMCAs. Those are acted on aggressively, and they enter into the permanent records of creators who knowingly or otherwise get into it. And this gets down into very fine-grained stuff. It isn't just about, stealing a popular anime character. This is, when we discovered that a studio has published skin packs that were derivative of work on independent skin pack creators in the open ecosystem. That to us has the same weight as if it were from like a major motion picture. We don't like it, and also too, it's and this goes to Razzleberries and just talking about needing to trust the people that you work with. It is. There's no excuse if the head of a studio says, well, I had this, 3D artist who did this thing and I had no idea. It doesn't matter. It is, we need to all really trust each other and really respect it, because we all are where we're at because of the strength of independent creations. And we want to make sure that we give every single creator out there an equal chance. And if you like something that someone does, work with them. Don't steal it.
Great answer, Donald. Thank you for that. Just a few more here. Red Stellar 404 wants to know, how do you all stay on top of working on your projects? How do you keep yourself motivated to work on said projects? And do you have any advice on avoiding burnout or overworking yourself? And anyone can jump in, because I'm sure this is something that everybody has experienced.
Yeah, I'll say it's a hard one, especially when you start out, because Jigarbov Productions is a small business, and I run it, and we have a small team. And certainly when I started, I was working at a movie theater before, and I was obviously working for someone then. But when you start working for yourself, every moment becomes a moment that could be spent working. So it's really easy to fall into a trap where you're just working all of the time, because why would I watch my favorite TV show when I could be working and getting potential revenues from that? Or there's always something to be done. So that's something that is always top of mind. And over the years, I've definitely gotten better at not doing that. Yes, it is 6:21 a.m. right now and I'm having this conversation, but this doesn't happen all of the time. And, sharing, what I've learned so that others can learn from it as well is just as important. So, giving yourself a dedicated space, going into it to do that work, and then removing yourself from that space is really good practice. And also, setting up set times. And then as far as finishing stuff, it's in your best interest to finish stuff. Otherwise, you won't release anything and then you won't get an income from it. So that is a very good motivator to not want to go back to work at a movie theater again.
I think
what are your thoughts?
In our case, we have to hold each other accountable because we come from a family of workaholics, and
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
So it's why are you working on Sunday? Get up,
put it down. Put it down.
Stop.
We're going out.
We're going out. Let's go grab lunch. Let's go take the dog for a walk. Let's go blah blah. And we tried it enforce weekends rabidly, so because we didn't used to.
No.
And since a lot of the people that work on Minecraft it's also their hobby, they're doing it all the time. And you get messages on Sunday, and you get messages at 3 a.m, and you get messages at 10 a.m, and any day of the week, all the time. It's like it's never ending. So that's why I have 2 Discords, a personal one and a work one. And that's why I have like sleep settings on my computer. So it's after a certain time, it's gaming time. I don't play Minecraft. I don't touch Minecraft. I don't look at Minecraft. I do other stuff. And no weekends. And I have to enforce it with my team because I've had my team about to burn out. I'm like, why are you messaging me on a Saturday night? Go watch a movie. I don't want to see you here. No crunch. Get off. And I think that's super important because if not, you will burn out. And the temptation is always there because you do want to finish for the most part. If this is actually something you truly love, you will want to finish. So I don't, in our case, at least in my case, I don't feel the need to motivate myself to finish something because I'm super motivated. So in my case, it's like, how do I stop myself before I crash out?
It's awesome
Liam?
to help set that culture. I think that's great.
We got multiple people lined up here. Liam.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to build on what Jigarbov was really saying. Like the wonderful thing about working inside of Minecraft is the, working for yourself. And it's the important thing is to reap the benefits of that work style and not the negatives. One way of looking at it is, every single moment is a moment where you could be working. The other way of looking at it is you have the full flexibility to bend your work around your daily life. And I think a really important thing and a way of achieving that balance is to go, okay, this is my life. This is the things that I want to do outside of, working and doing the things, and then fitting in your work around your life and not the other way around. And Minecraft is like one of the very few places where you can really make that actually happen and actually work. So for me, that's like the biggest part is just like make sure that you're prioritizing your life and then, do the Minecraft thing, do the work thing to support what you want to do with your actual life.
JWolf.
Yeah, so just to build off of what everybody else has been saying so far, yes, rest is very, very important. I actually have to make it a point to watch myself with that too, because I'm someone who can easily go up until 2 o'clock in the morning working on a feature that I think is really cool and I want to hurry up and get into the add-on, So it is very important to find a good balance between the two. But even along with that, I would say when you are doing work, it helps to also have a diverse set of things that you work on, right? I know my entire time here I've been talking about Wolf's Plus pretty much, but I have other add-ons that I work on as well. I have teleporters, which is like a custom blocks, right? And there's some more like gameplay involved in that rather than just the entity related stuff. Entity heavy, Wolf's Plus is heavy entity focus, and Minecraft you have the ability to create a wide variety of things. You can work on gameplay systems, you can work on custom items, custom blocks, things like that. So it helps to have a diverse set of things that you do so that you don't burn yourself out working on the same thing nonstop constantly, because that is also something you could fall into. Even if you do rest, if you're just not motivated to do the thing that you were doing when you left off, I mean, you're just going to be kind of stuck. So if you have something else to switch to, that does help.
Anyone else want to weigh in?
Yeah, I was gonna also add a little bit to what everyone said is that I used to like last year I finished university, and for the bigger part of me working for Oreville, I've been also like attending university, and it's kind of been a little hard, managing all that stuff. One like you're going to classes like that during the day, and then you come back, then you're like doing some work. But for me, it's always been like to avoid that kind of burnout. Like university at the time was kind of like a primary thing for me, and then work was more so like, oh, I'm doing this on the side as like more of a relaxed kind of job, I suppose. Because I am an artist first, so when I do work, I usually just kind of draw or texture something, which can be kind of like you can zone out and do that kind of stuff for like longer as well. But I think that's like one of the more important things as like creative people and as creators is that it's always good to kind of have something on the side that you can fall back to, or just have a separate hobby, or whether it be like gaming, drawing on the side, watching TV shows. It sometimes can be good to like if you work on something and then like maybe you're not feeling it at the moment, you're kind of like struggling to finish up that piece of work. It's good to like take a break, watch like 2 episodes of a TV show, and then be like, all right, I've kind of taken a break. I've set my mind aside from that part, and then now I can get back to it maybe with a kind of like fresher perspective. So I think it's always important to have different things that you can do, and maybe even upkeep kind of like other projects if you're like doing something personal. Doesn't necessarily have to be something big, but just something for yourself to so you don't fall into that mindset of like, oh, I'm always working, everything I do is like always for work. So you can kind of like say that like I have time apart from that, when you're managing your time, and if you aren't like sticking to maybe a specific schedule like from 9 to 5 or stuff like that, it's good to like separate those times like mentally at least, is like a good thing.
All right, well, we are going to wrap up with one last question. We're going to try to do this one rapid fire. We're going to go clockwise in a circle, which you are all excellent at by now. So let's close out with each of you saying one resource that helps you regularly, whether that's a community resource or an official resource, as well as one tip for a creator early in their journey. Let's start with you, Raz.
Every day, there's not a day that I don't open Blockbench, even if it's just for fun. I love making 3D models on Blockbench. It's super fun. And that's like something I use every single day, even on weekends when I shouldn't be. And what was the second part of the question?
A tip for a creator early in their journey.
Save copies of everything you do. Everything. It doesn't matter if it's the worst looking weird mutant thing. It doesn't matter. Save it. Because you never know when you want to show it, or when you're gonna like need it, or gonna go and reference it because maybe you solved a problem that you hadn't encountered before with it. And it's always good to have a reference to go back to, or to showcase to someone else in the event that, say, you wanted to work at a studio. We want to see everything.
All right, next one. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm going to be cheeky. I'm going to say the team at Oreville Studios. I am primarily an audio designer. I do not know how to code. I do not know how to model. I don't know how to animate. I can't make VFX. I have incredible, wonderful people surrounding me who can do all of those things and can do that one specific thing, and they rely on everyone else also. So making Minecraft stuff or making anything is a collaborative effort, or at least it's the best when it is a collaborative effort. So my advice for new people joining: find other people, find the people who do the thing that you don't do, find them, message them, become friends with them, and work with them.
Yeah, I think it's important to always ask for feedback. I think that's like the value of like other people's opinion can really help you improve, and very fast. So, and always ask for that kind of like constructive criticism, and like ask for people to like tell you honestly what they think, because sometimes when you make something, even if you're like very good at one thing, you're not always going to produce the best work. So having other people's perspective is like good, and it's not a bad thing, even if you like create something that doesn't look great in the end, and you can always come back and improve it. So having other people's perspective is really, really essential.
Yeah, and I would say a resource that I use regularly actually would be the Bedrock add-ons Discord. There's a lot of really passionate community creators there at that Discord, and they often help each other out with just how to build certain things. As a technical creator myself, I find myself frequently visiting that Discord and looking at the conversation just to see, hey, okay, well, this particular feature, if you put these things together, you can accomplish that. It's really it's a really good resource, to even just go to ask questions, if you have something. And something that I would recommend, I guess it's kind of in a way similar to what Raz was talking about, but a little different. Is to keep backups also of the things that you were working on. I have fallen in a trap one time or two now, I think, where there's some projects that I was working on. Computer has an issue. Minecraft has maybe a bug or something like that. Hasn't had anything like that lately, so I mean it's fine. But usually it's the computer thing or maybe a user error even on my part where just something happens and the files are now gone. And now you don't have the project files anymore. So it helps to keep backups of all of your data so that, you know, in the worst case, you actually still have all of your files somewhere that is not your computer.
Right.
Mine's actually a combination of both of those. Bedrock add-ons Discord is my tip and also a resource. Like it's really, really good. There's a lot of conversation happening, especially when like there's an update that comes out. Like everyone's talking about all the new features and all the different things. You can say, hey, did they fix bundle opening yet? And how do I do it? And, you know, other things like that. Really, really good resource. But I also want to give a shout out just to GitHub. I was like, it took me a really, really long time to start using any sort of versioning thing. I would just like copy folders on my desktop, move it somewhere else, blah, 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 for like until like maybe a year and a half ago. So like for 5 years, I've just been copying folders and accepting things in folders and zips and things like that. It takes a little bit of effort, but if you can set up a GitHub for all of your different projects, like it makes all of the backup thing happen automatically. You have all of the different versions that you've had for all this stuff for ages. And like, yeah, I regret not setting it up earlier, but don't tell Moshe I said that.
I'm shocked, Jigarbov.
Yeah, I couldn't, like, it was just because I did it in 2011 when I started. It was just like worlds and stuff, and it's like, I was never going to do it professionally, and I used to do most of it myself, but now I'm collaborating with other people. Like GitHub makes all that so much easier.
I think we've got two more folks who need to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
B?
Should I go next? That's not the order, though. I'm respecting the clockwise order. So, being a project manager, maybe I'm going to give a bit of like nerdy advice, but if you're aiming to work with a team, organization, naming things correctly, you're not working by yourself, so if you name your layers like something random, you're not organized with your layers and your folders, and you know, just like your database with all of your materials and your assets and things like that, your documentation for your projects. Be organized, because a project with no organization is not going to go anywhere. It's going to be a mess, and it's bad news bears. You're not gonna have a good time. As for like what programs, I don't have like a specific one because I'm a project manager, but I do try to familiarize myself with stuff like Blockbench. I'm not a modeler, I'm not an artist, but I do know how to kind of use it so that I understand like the artists and what they're doing. And especially because if I have to post something on social media, I have to be able to grab things myself and, you know, use the assets and things like that. So yeah, just familiarize yourself with the programs that your artists and your devs use. Even if you're not good at them or you don't really know how to make anything, but at least you know what they're talking about. Yeah, many hats, as someone said earlier.
As a PM myself, your answer about organization really speaks to my heart. Thank you.
I'll just finish off here. This is a little bit out of left field, but I'm going to recommend Excalidraw. Just as someone who looks at a lot of pitches and proposals and things like that, it is not just about making a really great game in Minecraft. It's about creating really lovely, documents, and Excalidraw or something like it. It's a really neat free tool that lets you create sort of like diagrams that have a hand-drawn look to them, so it looks like casual and beautiful at the same time. So just think about your presentation overall. And my advice is to be persistent and with anything you do, like be proactive, like reach out to people. You're gonna you're gonna cold call people, or you're gonna like with like a proposal or something, and you might reach out and you might hear nothing back, and you might think, oh wow, they really hated it, or they don't care about me, or things like that. And I will just tell you, the reality is that like from my perspective, I am living constantly in Teams and Outlook and Gmail and Discord and Slack and social media, and there are so many different channels, and these streams go by so fast. There have been times when maybe I see something, I'm like, oh, I'll get back to it, and I forget about it, or I don't even notice it because it's just like flowing past. And so many times I've been so thankful to someone who reached out to me. I didn't respond, and they said, hey, they gave me a nudge. Don't do it the next day. Like, give it a week. Like don't pester. But those moments where it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for just pinging me again. I can't believe I didn't see it. Like, there's so many great opportunities that can be missed if you just try once and give up. Don't. If you have something really great, make sure you're really persistent about trying to share it with folks.
Honestly, such good advice, Donald. Thank you for that. Well, that is it for our Creator Roundtable. I want to say a huge thank you to all of our creators for joining us and sharing your wisdom and knowledge with the community. And yeah, it was great having you on the stream.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Yes.
All right, and we are going to just hang around for just a second. I'm going to be joined again by Kayla and by Mike for our wrap-up and farewell.
Howdy.
Wow, that's been quite the journey the last couple days.
It's been 11 hours, 12 hours.
It's been a long time. We've been in this room for a long time. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who showed up for Creator Camp. This is obviously the first time we've ever done this, but I hope you all got something out of it. Thank you to everyone who joined the video, who asked questions, all of our presenters, all the fabulous creators that were just on. And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Mike posts a lot of great videos on our YouTube channel here, so this party can keep going on and you can keep learning more as we go on. So.
Yeah, and if you've got feedback about the videos, suggestions for next topics, I know someone was like, oh, I wish there was more camera content in Creator Camp. Well, that's awesome stuff that we can put on the next YouTube channel. I'm trying to do like builds, not every Friday, but like every other Friday, just to go play with random stuff. But yeah, if you have feedback about how we can improve our content and the like, please send it our way. We also have our Creator Learning Portal, and we have it on GitHub. We will be focusing quite a bit on making sure that we can take all of your feedback and get them iterated. And we're in the midst of an awesome transition journey. But yeah, no, it's really good stuff. And if you've got feedback, please let us know about what you might want to see from a future Creator Camp. And the like, and everything going on there. Sorry.
I hear we're gonna do this weekly now. Is that what we're doing?
No.
If you would like to see a future Creator Camp, let us know. Yeah. That will definitely help us make the case to do this again.
Yeah.
And special thanks to all the creators, especially who I think Jigarbov, it's 6:30 or 6:40 a.m. his time. I think there's a number of other creators all around the world whose Friday nights we ruined. So yeah, thanks for coming in and for all the prep that went into it. So we're really appreciative. But yeah.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.